I had to take my car to the dealership. Matt, you got dressed up. You look good.
What are you talking about? This is how I look every day.
Oh, is it? My bad. Sorry, I haven't noticed before. Um, Emily, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. So again, sorry for being late. Appreciate you guys all being here on the Zoom. We'll put it on YouTube later. So for anybody watching on YouTube, appreciate you guys tuning in. Um, let's start with Matt since you're dressed up uh, and got ready for this morning. So Matt, what's up, man?
Not much, man. Just was excited to be selected for the spotlight. Had to show out for the spotlight.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, man. We've gotten to know each other. You've been super active in the community, which we appreciate, and we've loved getting to know you. But really, probably don't know your background and your story. So maybe you can fill us in.
Yeah. I've bounced around quite a bit. When I was so I finished my playing career in 2011. I went to Kansas Wesleyan NAIA school. Uh, since then, I moved in with a buddy of mine in Phoenix, and I'm from Arizona. So being from Arizona back then, like there wasn't you didn't know what college basketball was. Like you really didn't. Like you knew the University of Arizona, Arizona State, and you knew that they played Northern Arizona. Like you didn't even know about Northern Arizona much, and the junior colleges. So I didn't really understand the coaching, like what it took to be a college coach. I always wanted to coach. I went to my first coach's clinic when I was 16 and just fell in love with the game of basketball, like right away. And I just never knew what it took. So I finished playing. I moved back. I tried to play like semi-professionally, and I was training kids back in Arizona. Um, did that for a couple of years. Coached high school as well for 3 years, and then I finally got uh, I got an opportunity to be a part-time assistant at a junior college in Kansas, Brown Mackey College. And actually, my buddy Bryson Flax, who just roasted me on Twitter for posting a picture today. He was the one that kind of gave me a call, gave me a shot. And ever since then, I've bounced around from college to college, steadily taking steps forward. From there, I was a GA at another NAIA school. Then I was a full-time, part-time at Indiana University East. And then I was at Buena Vista, Division III. And then I somehow got lucky with the Skyforce here. And that's pretty much like my journey. Like there's a lot obviously that goes in the middle of that, but I've bounced around. I think that that's given me I think it's really helped me because I've learned how to coach at a lot of different ways with a lot of different people. But yeah, that's it.
Sorry, trying to toggle my buttons here in the car. So, how did you get the? All right, well, let's talk about this. Like when you fell in love with the game and you're in Phoenix trying to break in, um, like can you think back and to remember like how that felt, like trying to seek out opportunities and uh,
I didn't even know what hoop dirt was. That's how I kind of started sending out resumes for GA spots, and and I always kind of banked on the fact that I loved the game and I studied it, that my opportunity would come, that if I was good enough, I would be able to get in. And it's just not the case. I got super lucky, like I said, and I think we all have that story at some point. We all get super lucky, and at some point or every time we get a job. So that was pretty much it.
what was what like how did you get lucky? Like how did you get that opportunity at Brown Mackey College?
Yeah. So my buddy who coached at Brown Mackey, we played together at Kansas Wesleyan. So he kind of knew that I was looking to get into the business. Gave me a call, gave me a shot. That was it.
And once you got there, does that feel like your big break at the time? Like you're probably fired up to move out there and get started right away. Uh, but at the same time, you're probably wearing a million different hats and getting paid peanuts, I would imagine.
Yeah, kind of broke up a little bit. I think my connection's a little unstable, but yeah, he let me live in like his basement. I was getting paid peanuts, but I also didn't know what the industry was. I still didn't understand what coaching college was about. So, I showed up to the office and I did whatever I was asked to do, but like when we scouted a half of the team that we were about to play. I went overboard on when I was scouting, but like other than that, they didn't even really ask me to go recruiting. I didn't understand the business, and I didn't know what I didn't know. I think my big break was actually getting a GA at Central Methodist, where they really showed me the business. They're really professional over there. I've learned a lot from my stops, but um, I think, you know, yeah, that was my big break. But I mean, there's a lot.
Okay, talk a little bit more about like what you learned at Central Methodist and how that like taught you the business or whatever.
So the head coach over there, Jeff Sherman, he's been there for 35, 36 years. So, I mean, he knows the business well. His son was his assistant, and we had two GAs. So we had a lot, and we had two JV teams. So I was like the head JV person, but I was also like, I mean, I'd be from 6 a.m. from our practice to 8 p.m. every day, just kind of learning everything. So, I mean, I coached and recruited for two JV teams, but I was fully like, I was just another assistant on the varsity team. I mean, just hoops all the time, but it really showed me how the business worked. That it was about getting kids. Obviously I had my own JV teams that I told you about, but I was also, trying to find varsity guys, obviously. So just kind of learning the business as you go.
And they always like are traditionally really good there, right? Coaches had like tremendous success there.
Yeah. No, they're pretty good. Yeah, we were both years I was there. We were at some point ranked in the top 20. So
What was like the secret sauce for them? Like what made them so successful? And what did you learn about like running a program from your time there?
I think that they were just extremely, like, they just knew how to run a program. I think their secret sauce was that they could run a program. And when you go to some places, and you guys probably, everybody on this call probably knows that some people just are trying to figure it out as they go, and they weren't those people. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. So even whether right or wrong, there's value in knowing what you're going to do, and how you're going to do it. So that went to the recruiting process, everything. So yeah, I think it was just the data.
Are you like that, Matt? Like if you took over a program right now, would you have it all planned out and know exactly like how you want to operate?
Yeah, absolutely not. I'm big on just bringing people in who are better than me. I'm not afraid to bring in people who have different ideas. I probably have an idea of how I want to do things, but no, I'm all about the collaboration. I like to figure it out together rather than you tell people how.
Yeah, I love that, and that's definitely one thing we joke about it all the time. But like one thing that you find out real quickly about Matt Dickman is you're like a creative thinker. You're outside the box, and you're always looking. You seem very genuinely curious and looking for new ways to innovate and push the envelope, which is awesome. That's a great quality to have.
Yeah, I think that yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up. I think that I value that, even though some people don't. So I value the relationships I build with people, like-minded people. I think we've learned really quick that how this is how we've always done it. Those people are dinosaurs, and we've kind of known that or thought that for a while. But COVID hitting has proven that, like, if this is how we've always done it, well, what are you going to do now? Um, so just push people outside.
Yeah, no question. Okay, let's talk about your time in the G League. Everyone that I've known that's made the jump from like college to professionally to professional basketball, they come back as like a new man 6 months later, like they've gone to the Matrix and they've learned like what basketball really is. Was it a similar experience for you? Like, was it an instant crash course?
Um, Crash course, yeah, that'd be probably a really good way to put it. It was kind of like thrown into the fire, wearing every single hat. In my resume, I would say, I'm an assistant coach, assistant operations, assistant video coordinator. We do everything. Everybody does everything. to some capacity. So I think absolutely. I think that I feel that way, but also I think that, just because, I mean, I haven't changed. I think, I've always been, the same person that I am. Like I'm hungry to kind of like learn. I spent time this morning texting Jimmy because I'm watching drop defense. Um, I also, like, I had a Chalk Talk episode, and Travis Lewis said something that I thought was really interesting, and I was thinking about it while I was watching drop defense. I called him this morning. That's just who I am. Like I want to have the basketball conversations, and that didn't change when I got to the G League. But I think what people think that you're capable of might change a little bit, if that makes any sense. I think people think that I've made it or whatever. They ask for my opinion, but I'm there. I mean, I've started doing some stuff on my own, as you guys probably know. A lot of you guys that I've talked to quite a bit. But I brought in some people to help me who are better than I am, and they're Division III assistants, Division II assistants, and they're helping me and they're teaching me. And I'm not afraid to learn something new from them.
Yeah, 100%. I always thought it was funny, like uh, when I went from like having the Northern Colorado logo on my shirt, and then a month later I had the Mississippi State logo, and people treat you differently. And you're the same person. And I imagine you have a similar experience when you got like the Miami Heat logo on your shirt.
Absolutely, I could. Yeah, I 100%.
Yeah. Or Jerry West. So Jerry West is the NBA logo. Who's the logo?
I don't even know. I think we try to figure that out. Nobody knows.
All right. If anyone has the answer for that, that's bonus points. They can throw it in the chat. Uh, all right. You mentioned like some of the stuff that you've been doing during coronavirus through Rising Coaches. Some of the Chalk Talk you do is great. You've also started Basketball MD, which is a great name. Uh, talk to us a little bit about that stuff.
Yeah, I think, just being at home, just wanted to, and I honestly, I could thank the Skyforce logo or whatever. I think that that's kind of helped me. People want to hear, for whatever reason, what I have to say, and not that I know anything. I think Scott Savor says it the best. I don't know anything, but I'll have an opinion, and you can make your own opinion about it. It's pretty much how I'm sure he says that every one of his shows at some point. But what I've been actually doing outside is trying to do some kind of consulting. But we're going to be doing some film breakdowns of like systems, but also like not necessarily like this is what you run if you're running like a swing offense, but like what are the skills needed to run that offense? And like for coaches that are trying to revamp their system, kind of building systems around their personnel to help them get the most out of their teams.
What has been like the biggest takeaway from, you know, providing, doing the consulting, doing the weekly Zoom, how is that, what have you learned from it, or how has that like stretched you as a coach slash person slash coach?
I think it's challenged me because I mean I've always been, as you know, the idea guy. So I'll have these ideas, but I wouldn't put anything through. So just kind of making steps, getting myself out of my comfort zone. Um, my girlfriend's been 100% like supportive and kind of helping me make those little baby steps and just to do something. Because I'm a big, like, if it's not perfect, then I won't do it. So just kind of just making some steps and figuring it out on the way. And I think that's the case with everything. We're all doing that. Like even if we want to be a head coach, we're all taking steps to build our philosophies, and it's not going to be perfect right away. Um, and just kind of building it as you go. Build it as you go. You have to have an opinion. You can't be afraid to have an opinion, but you also can't be afraid to learn.
Um, okay, what's the best piece of advice you give to somebody in this profession?
I think kind of back to what I was saying is like, don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to have an opinion, but you can't be afraid to be wrong in your opinion. Like you got to go in with your opinion and if somebody proves you wrong, then great. Then you just learn something. Uh, I think that people go in with, they think they have all the answers and they come out disappointed.
Okay, I want to open it up to questions here in a minute. I'm gonna get you started here, Matt. Uh, uh, I want to get actually before I do that, you got to give us the scouting report on you as a player. We do that with everybody, so give us the quick scouting report.
Oh man, probably Rip Hamilton who could shoot it from three a little bit better. But I was
You
so what?
shoot it from three better than Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, probably. He was
Knockdown shooter. Okay.
no, I'm just kidding. No, that's probably how I would classify myself, or maybe I'd shoot it like Curry, but I wouldn't make like Curry.
Uh, Somebody just wrote in the chat. I don't even know who it was. They averaged 20 against you. So
Absolutely. No, I didn't say any play any defense.
I think
all
it's
offense.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Me and Brandon played against each other in high school.
Oh, did you? That's
We
funny.
did.
I didn't know that. It's a small world. All right. So knockdown shooter, move well without the ball. You're out there playing chess, not checkers. No defense.
No defense, but don't check my stats in college. My senior year, I shot a lot of bad shots. We were not very good.
Did you have the green light, or were you getting yanked from the game for those shots?
No. My coach actually told me to shoot more, but it was actually really interesting. We had too many times we were under 10 on the shot clock. So I shot a lot of bad shots. We weren't very good.
I got you. All right. Well, let's go ahead and open it up. Great job, Matt. If anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Matt, I got one for you. Biggest thing you've learned being a part of the Miami Heat organization?
Oh, biggest thing. I think personally is to star in my role. I think that's always been especially in the not whole 100% all basketball in my role, like just being great at what I was expected to do. Catching myself when I was like stretching myself too thin. But I think from a purely educational was just the professionalism that you have to have as a coach and as a player to make it. And even if you do have it, like that's almost a prerequisite. Like you can't make it if you're not like obsessed about your craft.
Matt, I got one for you. What all the levels you've been at a couple different ones. Which level would you say you're the most comfortable at that you would maybe want to return to or stay at?
Yeah, I really like the NAIA level. I mean, I played NAIA, coached NAIA for a long time, and I just something about the small schools, like the second chance guys. I really enjoyed that level.
Is that your ultimate career goal, to be an NAIA head coach?
Yeah, I want to be somewhere where I think that, like, if I don't think I want to stay in the professional game, I want to be in the college game, but be somewhere where it's a good situation, or at least like make it a good situation, and just somewhere where I'm comfortable. Like I live modestly. I just love to be around basketball, but if I also don't want to be in a place where I'm making okay and then like I have a part-time assistant and that's it. You know, I want to be able to build a program and develop coaches. I really enjoy developing a staff as well, like talking basketball and helping them get to the next level. And I find it's really important to me.
I love it.
Matt, I got a question for you.
Sir.
First of all, man, I think you've done a great job through all this time of having material and content and resource for coaches. So kudos on that. You talked about earlier. You said you kind of got lucky with the Skyforce. I'm just curious because I've kind of been asking around a little bit. How did you, like, will you unpack that got lucky? Like, did you go to the summer league? Did you know someone? Like, how did you get that that position with the Skyforce?
You're gonna hate me for this one. So the NAIA Division II National Championship is here in Sioux Falls. I met my girlfriend out here, the one I have now, the one that has this gorgeous house. So I'm living with her, and I basically, it was funny because my boss was he got another job, and it was both of our first year at this place, and we took over for a coach that has been there for like 20 something years. So they kind of had a bad taste in their mouth. I felt like that I had no chance to get the head coaching job over there. Let's just put it that way. For whatever reasons, I didn't have a chance. So I'm here living in Sioux Falls, and it opened up. I just kept emailing the people that were from here, and just kept trying to talk to people, and eventually got a hold of somebody's ear, and then that was it.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Do you hate him for that, David?
Nah, not as bad as he probably thought I would.
I just think people try so hard, and it's all luck. Like, there's so much luck that goes into it, and everybody on this call either got a lucky break or hasn't got one. But like, if they've gotten into the college game or gotten the job, any job that they wanted, there's some luck that goes into it.
But you got to have that perseverance too, because you got to be able to hang around long enough to catch that break, which, like your story, you kept reaching out, keep reaching out, and then the break hit.
Yeah, if you don't mind, so something else, I found out about a job opening last year when I was in transition before I got the Skyforce job. I found out about a good NAIA Division I assistant job, and I didn't know the coach, but I knew somebody that might know him. So I text my buddy, say, hey, do you know this guy? Here's his number. Send him. I can't remember if I called him or texted him. He loved it. Like, the coach just ate it up. Like, hey, if I didn't already offer this position, like, I know I would offer it to you. And that we had 2 conversations. But he loved that, just that, me reaching out and going out of my way. It's like, if you can do that, then you can recruit. That was what he was saying. But some people don't like it. Some people don't want to be reached out that way. Like, it almost comes off too strong. And I just feel like you could be yourself. Like, if it's not you to be that way, I think you have to be yourself in order to get those breaks, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Matt, well done, sir. We appreciate you giving us some more insight into your background, man. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, appreciate the spotlight.
Absolutely. All right. You're off the hook, Matt. We're going to slide over to Emily. Emily Drake is, before we say hello to her, I'm going to hype her up and give her the intro. Emily is our intern. I don't know if you guys have had the chance to meet her yet, but Emily is at St. John Fisher College, home of Brandon Rosenthal. And since joining us about a month ago or so, Emily, I think that's right. Emily handles all of our social media. Emily has been really active in putting together our sales pitch deck, which is something behind the scenes, which is super important for us, and has also started planning our 2021 events. So Emily is doing big things behind the scenes. What's up, Emily?
Nothing. Just, grinding. That's all you got to do.
I love it. So, Emily, give us a little background. Like, you maybe necessarily don't want to be a coach, but you do want to have a career in athletics. Like, tell us, like, what your goals are and kind of your background.
So I recently just graduated from St. John Fisher College and this craziness. So I majored in sport management. I minored in marketing, and I've done a few different internships, but the internship with Rising Coaches has really, I think, opened my view up of like what goes into actually like day-to-day planning for whether it's an organization or a team or an event. So I never really thought of like, okay, let me run some social media. That was never really like one of my goals, but I think the opportunity opened up when COVID hit and I needed an internship. And surprisingly, I kept an open mind, and Adam and Brandon and Aaron, they've all been really awesome in helping me along and transitioning me, especially when I really have no idea what I'm doing. And I think just keeping an open mind for me was like the normal, like what I needed to do, because I actually really enjoy the content, going through the content, seeing like how people interact, and like the different coaches. I think I think that in the future I wouldn't mind doing something with social media, but my overall goal, majoring in sport management, was to be in event management for like a team or something along those lines. And I grew up around extreme sports, so motocross, X Games, things like that. And I do also enjoy college basketball. So that's my overall goal, but we'll see, because there's not really any events happening currently. So.
Okay, so you said you grew up around extreme sports. Like, did you have a family member that worked in it, or you just were a fan of it, or what was your exposure to it?
So all my like best friends and my dad and my uncle raced dirt bikes, and so it was like a family event, like going to the track on the weekends. I'd help my dad help when I was little, and so that's just like I have fond memories of that. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with Monster Energy Supercross, but they have like races each season in different locations, different races, and what I enjoy about that, we would go to the Toronto Supercross, which isn't a thing anymore. But I think my goal and what drives me to try to reach out and engage members, whether for events or for teams, is creating those memories. Like sports, you all know sports is not just a sport. Like you have a team, you have your family there, you have relationships with your coach. You create memories that are irreplaceable. So for me, like that's what my goal is, to create memories for families or teams, things along those lines where it'll last with you forever.
Okay, so all your friends and family raced motorbikes or
Yeah.
dirt bikes. Did
Yeah.
you do you go down there and ride ever, or no?
I have ridden before, not like that. Not like that. The bike is heavier than me. I can't even pick it up when I tip over. So it's challenging, but it's fun.
Okay. So what would like your, ideal, so you just graduated, you're finishing up your internship, like what would your ideal first like real job be?
Um, I don't know. I have thought, like I said, I've been really passionate about the event management side of things. My first internship was that on a smaller scale. But I think I'm really open to anything in sports. I mean, just sports in general are my passion. And I think that, you know, penetrating into that market is like, I think that's just my main goal at this point, networking. I I honestly, with COVID and everything, I honestly, it's made me rethink like my whole future and like where I don't know, like my goals, because it's going to be hard to recover from this for the sport industry. And so a lot of people were furloughed. So I don't know. I'm not doubting myself, but I think I'm competing with a lot of others that have um, more experience than I do. So
Well, and not only that, but like you mentioned, like event management, some of the events are still going on. Like the NBA has formed a bubble, but they're all operating like way leaner and trying to limit the number of people that are involved. But
yeah,
hopefully that'll only last, for the next 6 to 12 months, and then we'll be back to normal. Fingers crossed.
yeah.
Uh, what have you like? What's been the biggest takeaways from, like your experiences with rising coaches? whether it be like the content that you're coming across, the people you're meeting, or even like the workflow?
I think that, like I said, keeping an open mind and not shutting yourself off from something that maybe you haven't thought of doing before. I think that's really important because it's going to deepen your resume and show like other people in the future that you're willing to step outside of your comfort zone and outside of the box. And also, I think um, one of the main things I've learned is that especially with Adam and Brandon and Aaron, like they're just so willing to help, and so I would like to work for an organization that is that willing to help and just not sort of, I mean, throw you in the fire, but sort of help you learn along the way. And so I don't know. I want to be around people that will help me, and that's one of the biggest things. Rising coaches, everybody's just ask and you shall receive. Like people are just there for each other. It's like a big community.
Well, we certainly throw you in the fire. I agree. I'm glad to hear that you're that we're there to help you. Because sometimes I feel like we just throw you in the deep end and tell you to figure it out.
It's all
Which
right.
you've done a good job of doing, by the way.
Thanks.
All right, Emily, like what advice would you give to, somebody trying to break into, your profession?
I would just say not to be discouraged and never give up. I'm still not in, obviously. I just graduated, so especially during a tough time, but just like Matt said, perseverance, keep your head down and, keep going until maybe you do have that stroke of luck or you do work hard enough to earn, to get in a position that you've always wanted to be in. So that's just what I'm trying to do. Never give up.
I love it. All right, give us since you can't give us a scouting report, or maybe you can. Did you play basketball growing up or anything?
No, I played lacrosse.
All right, give us the lacrosse scouting report.
In high school, I was like the best defensive player, but then I went to college and like I played at St. John Fisher, obviously. That's where I went to school. And we're nationally ranked. And we would play a lot of D2 schools and just crush them. And I did not play there. I was injured most of the time with shin splints. So I don't really have a scouting report for college. But yeah, senior season ended poorly with COVID, but I pretty much was like the cheerleader on the sidelines. I just enjoyed being there and I love my team.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, any book or podcast recommendation for us, or both?
That question catches me off guard.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I definitely want to tune into the Rising Coaches podcast and listen to that. Even though I don't not necessarily interested in coaching, I think it's like a universal blanket that can be laid across. So
For sure. It's going to be our new catchphrase, a universal blanket.
I literally, oh my gosh.
I like it. That's good. All right. Great job, Emily. I want to go ahead and open it up for questions. If anybody has any questions for Emily, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away.
Emily,
Go ahead.
I don't know anything about lacrosse, but I'm really interested in your scouting report still. Like, like, how do you, what position, like, how do you, like, give me something on the lacrosse field, because I actually just ran a camp and like half the kids played lacrosse and I had nothing to say to them other than I know that I'm terrible at it. I can't even catch the ball with the little net.
So actually it's interesting. My coach's husband was a basketball coach, a high school basketball coach, and he retired and he would come to all our practices and literally teach us like basketball cuts and basketball plays. And he'd say like, this is what I used to teach my girls, and I'm just like, I didn't know, I never played basketball, so I didn't know how similar basketball and lacrosse were to each other. But I think with like the plays and the movement and like trying to get open, I think that's really similar, which I've learned from other people. I did not experience that myself.
All right, Emily, great job. Appreciate you guys being on the member spotlight today. We'll continue to do this every week and give people an opportunity, to talk about their story so we can get to know them a little bit better. And then hope you guys join us in about 15, 20 minutes for our interview workshop with Herb Courtney of Renaissance Search. We'll see you guys there. I'm going to start driving and get home so I can be there for it. See you guys.